You ever find yourself watching the clouds and the different shapes they take on? How they have different colors, different densities? Well, those clouds have different names, and I'm here to explain to you the 10 types of different clouds. Cirrus. Cirrus clouds have a distinct look relative to the other 9 cloud types. Because cirrus clouds are made of ice crystals, they look different than your typical puffy cloud shape and can take on a number of different forms that resemble spider webs, fish skeletons, mare's tails, or hair like commas. If you're observing a cloud that's fibrous in nature, that's a strong chance you're looking at a cirrus cloud. But all cirrus clouds don't have the distinctive fibrous shape. They can also be found clumped together and be entangled and don't look as majestic when you spot them closer to the horizon. Because of their ice crystal composition, cirrus clouds are also capable of various optical phenomena such as sundogs and cloud iridescence. Though human formed condensation trails from aircraft can become cirrus clouds, in the technical sense, created as a result of a jet exhaust in cold temperatures found in the upper parts of the troposphere. Altocumulus clouds. Altocumulus clouds are typically found in groups or heaps clumped together. They're found in the middle layer of the troposphere, lower than the cirrocumulus and higher than their cumulus and stratocumulus counterparts. The term mackerel sky is also common to altocumulus and cirrocumulus clouds that display a pattern resembling fish scales. Of all the 10 different cloud types, altocumulus clouds are one of the most diverse and dynamic in terms of their appearance. These clouds can take a handful of shapes and sizes. They can include cloud heaps that resemble towering castles, can sometimes resemble a lock of wool, can cover the entire sky, and can even come in the shape of roll clouds. Altocumulus clouds are also known for creating UFO shaped clouds, are responsible for a lot of the uncommon fall streak hole sightings you might be lucky enough to see, and on the rarest of occasion can produce a wavy, chaotic appearance. Stratus. Stratus clouds. When you think of a cloudy, dreary day, you might have stratus clouds on your mind. Stratus clouds are blanket clouds that sit low to the ground and on occasion come in contact with the ground, better known as fog. If you're a city dweller, you might know stratus clouds by their ability to obscure the tops of tall buildings. These clouds only have 2 species associated with them, Nimbulus and Fractus. Stratus nebulosus clouds are arguably the dullest of the clouds out there. They're featureless, lack detail, and probably wouldn't be considered picturesque. Stratus fractures aren't exactly picturesque either, but at least there's a little detail, as these clouds are broken up shards of stratus clouds. Depending on the condition, stratus clouds can make the sun opacus cloud variety, though sometimes the sun can be observed. It also possible to find wave-like undulating features in them. Regardless, stratus clouds aren't the most memorable cloud and often leave you wishing for sunnier days. Cirrostratus. Cirrostratus clouds can be best described as a thin cloud blanket high up in the troposphere spread out across the sky. Found at the same altitude as their cirrus and cirrocumulus counterparts, these clouds are more widely known for being the culprit of sun and moon halos, as they're composed of ice crystals. Like most layer clouds, cirrostratus clouds can take on a relatively dull appearance. They have very few cloud species and varieties associated with them. One distinction that cirrostratus clouds have going for them, however, is that they are one of 2 clouds that can be fibrous in appearance. They're also one of 2 clouds that can take on a hazy, nebulous feel, which is where the cloud completely lacks any kind of discernible detail. There are instances where they might take on a wave like appearance as well. Because cirrostratus clouds are generally very thin, the sun will always be visible, which might help you distinguish it from its close relative, the ultrastratus cloud. Sometimes cirrostratus clouds are so thin they're almost difficult to even make out. Cirrocumulus. Cirrocumulus clouds are thin cloud patches found high in the troposphere and are the only cloud found at this altitude that has cloud heap characteristics. Because cirrocumulus clouds are so high in altitude, the cloud heaps take on what can be described as a grain of rice appearance. Take note when you see them because along with the cumulonimbus and the cirrocumulus clouds are the least seen among the 10 main cloud types. Unlike cirrus and cirrostratus clouds, cirrocumulus clouds don't typically produce sun halos, though they are capable of iridescence and coronas on the rare occasion. Additionally, these are the only clouds in the high level that cannot be found in the fibrous form. If you see a cirrocumulus cloud, the chances are good that there are cirrus or cirrostratus clouds nearby. Similar to altocumulus clouds, cirrocumulus can also take on a macro sky effect, resembling fish scales. If you're lucky enough to see a macro sky at sunset, you're in for a treat. Cumulus. Cumulus clouds are the clouds that we all drew as kids. They're cotton ball clouds, popcorn clouds, and the clouds in the opening scene of The Simpsons. Though they come in different shapes and sizes, they are generally the easiest type of cloud to pick out of the 10 different cloud types. When the average person is asked to visualize a cloud, cumulus clouds are generally the first to come to mind. The different sizes of cumulus clouds are described by their four associated species. If the cumulus cloud you are looking at is wider than it is tall, then it's a cumulus humulus cloud. If it is wide as it is tall, then it is a cumulus mediocris. But when a cumulus cloud is taller than it is wide, known as a cumulus congestus, things can get interesting. If a cumulus congestus cloud continues its vertical growth, they're capable of producing rain and can eventually morph into a cumulonimbus cloud. Finally, if you see a cumulus cloud that's ragged and broken up, consider it of the species Cumulus fractus. You might witness these clouds in the evening as cumulus clouds begin to dissipate and perhaps on a windy day. Stratocumulus. Consider stratocumulus clouds a mix of stratus and cumulus clouds, hence the name. Strato and cumulo are Latin for layer and heap, respectively. They are a layer of puffy clouds and can usually be found as conjoined heaps similar to autocumulus clouds. In many ways, these clouds are like altocumulus clouds closer to the ground. Similar to altocumulus, stratocumulus clouds come in many different shapes and sizes and have a handful of associated species, varieties, and features, more than any of the 10 main cloud types, in fact. They come in various cloud species that describe forms of rising turret formations, woolly locks, smooth lens shaped layer form blanketing the sky, and even a roll cloud. More dramatic versions of stratocumulus clouds include, but aren't limited to, chaotic and wavy features, sack like features, and can even have the rare Kelvin Helmholtz wave cloud association. Stratocumulus clouds are diverse and capable of many different looks. Altostratus. Altostratus clouds are found in the middle cloud level. Unlike their altocumulus counterpart, they are often boring to look at. Along with nimbostratus clouds, these clouds don't have any species associated with them. But they do come with a handful of cloud varieties, which can help you make the determination if you're looking at an altostratus cloud. If you see a cloud covering the sky's entirety that's not very close to the ground and it's positioned such that it's visible through the clouds but giving off a frosted glass appearance, chances are good that you're observing a cloud classified as an altostratus translucidus. If the cloud is opaque and you can't see the sun's position, consider an altostratus opacus. These clouds can also be responsible for precipitation. Though it is short lived and not common, you might also find scud clouds underneath the main layer of cloud, which can be one more indication that you're looking at an altostratus cloud. Cumulonimbus Cumulonimbus clouds are responsible for stormy weather. If you're looking up at a cloud that's causing rainy and windy conditions, creating hail, thunder, and lightning, chances you got yourself a cumulonimbus cloud. If you're observing this cloud from a distance, What will stand out most is the cloud's impressive height, as it's the only cloud that extends through all three cloud levels. Its base can be very low to the ground, and its top can extend to the highest layer of the troposphere. The top of the cloud might take on a bald appearance, or it can take on a hairy and fibrous upper portion. The most potent cumulonimbus clouds can create a handful of cloud features. Above the main cloud, an anvil cloud can form where the cloud hits the top of the troposphere and spreads out across the sky. Additionally, you might find the most dramatic examples of a mammatus clouds, mama cloud feature, in the upper portion of a cumulonimbus cloud, caused by pockets of cooling and sinking air. Nimbostratus. Nimbostratus clouds are associated with rainy, dreary days. They are also responsible for snowy weather. Either way, these clouds are best known for precipitation and might be the cause for your outdoor activities to be postponed. Though it's difficult to tell visually, these clouds can be put into the category of multi level clouds, meaning the base of a nimbostratus cloud can be found relatively close to the ground, but the tops of them can extend upwards into the middle cloud level. The thickness of a nimbostratus cloud helps give it a darker appearance than most. Of the 10 main cloud types, only two are consistent precipitation producers: nimbostratus and cumulonimbus. Nimbostratus are responsible for continuous precipitation, where cumulonimbus are more likely associated with more dramatic weather, including quick hitting extreme downpours. So, if it's raining and has been raining all day, you're in the presence of a nimbostratus cloud.